Today I'm gonna be giving a video tutorial of how to load your SVG file and resize to the perfect sizes with the Petal 137, which I just uploaded yesterday. And I'm also gonna be making another tutorial in how to assemble the flowers together. So let's begin. I assume that you already see and downloaded your files from Etsy and you already save it in your computer. So first of all, let's begin in opening our Cricut design space. And if you are new in Cricut, you need to install and download this program by connecting your machine to your computer. And I'm sure Cricut has its own tutorial on how to download the Cricut design space. So I assume that you bought SVG, you already have the Cricut design space. So here we go. Now, if you can see in our screen, I already opened our design space. So this is pretty basic. Now, assuming that you already downloaded the file, let's go and upload the file into our Cricut design space. So in your left icons here, you can see your account, which by the way, you need to sign in. You need to make an account for you to be able to access their cartridges or buy some online stuff. So I'm already signed in, so I don't have to worry about that. You can see in the left panel, you have the insert images. If you just want to buy something from Cricut directly, this is also one way that you can get some stuff. And then here, the second one, it's upload image. This is where we're going to go if we're going to get our file and upload it into our design space. So let's do that. I think we need to double click. So if you can see, I have already lots of stuff here because before I release all my templates, I need to make a run test it by myself to see if it really is working and if it's good with the machine. So as you can see, I already have lots of uploads here. So for tutorial's sake, I already have the Petal 137 uploaded down here, which I can show you. Where is it? Okay, here it is. But for the sake of tutorial purposes, let's do it from the very beginning. So let's upload our Petal 137 SVG files from where we save it. So let's browse. And in this step, it may vary because you might save your file in different way, but I assume you already know that. So let's just see. I have like more than 150 templates here that I still haven't really touched some of it. Actually, more than half of it. So here is our Petal 137. Let's upload it to our design space. And there it goes. So what's the beauty about the SVG is that I already did all the cleaning for you. You can upload JPEG file, you can upload PNG, but the problem with those files is that you need to clean the surrounding so the machine will have a clean cut just for the intended object that you wanted to cut. But whereas this one, I already do all the cleaning for you, and that's the beauty of SVG. And plus, another thing, it is a small file. So let's save that. Okay, as you can see, it's already uploaded here. So what we can do, we can click it and then insert the image into our mat. There it is, ladies. So now, this size is not really the perfect. As you know, I always make a test run of my templates. This is really not the perfect size for this particular petal. That's why I particularly made this video to teach you the perfect sizing I used to really make this template work. You know, to make a wonderful rose. So, why is this thing here? Okay, so now it's clear. So your SVG file is uploaded, and you might think that, oh, I only got one petal. Yes, that's right, because you have the SVG file. And the beauty of SVG is that you can resize it the way you want, and you can, you know, create more layers of templates as much as you want. So this is our mat. If you can see, here's our grid here, and or the rulers, and each numbers here represent with the dimension of the paper or the mat that we have. And mostly in Cricut, they are only up to 12 for the width, and I believe it's up to 24 for the height. But mostly of us ladies are using only 12 by 12. So let's stick to that, you know, for just this tutorial purposes. So now your SVG file is loaded. Now the question is, how can we have the perfect sizes of different layers of this particular flowers? So I'm gonna teach you how. So this is the largest petal, and I want to resize it to the perfect size that I believe worked. Which, if you are following me on Instagram, that's the same size that I used for that particular flower. So if you can see here in your right, in the right part of your panel, here are different icons also. You can see the layers. There's the edit, sync, and canvas. So for us to resize this one perfectly, let's click edit. And if you can see, here's the, because it's selected, and if you click outside the petal, there's nothing in here. But if you select it and click it somewhere, wherever, as long as it touches the petal, you can see that there are numbers here. And in this number, it's perfect 7, 9. Oh, it's not perfect. It's 7.9 inches for the width and 7.29 for the height. So let's try to resize this one. Actually, you can just resize it, you know, freely by clicking this unlock thing here, and then resize it however you want, or, you know, however you like. But I want to give you the sizes that really work for you to be able to create that beautiful rose that I posted on Instagram. So let's unlock that. Actually, we don't have to, because I will, well, wait, I will show you how it is when we're going to lock it. So let's change this. I have the perfect dimensions here with me listed, so I'm gonna give it to you later also, and I'm gonna put the sizes down to the description of this video. So here, for the largest petal, I found that the perfect width is 8.06. So let's do that. And then the height is 9 inches. And let's enter. But because it's locked, it changes our width because we put height in it. It compensates to its original perfect proportion. So what we will do is to unlock this one so it will allow us to have a customized size that we want. So let's do this again. 8.06. Enter. So now there it is, ladies. That's our largest petal. This is petal 1. Actually, for this particular design, I made 5 layers of this petal. So now let's go and make our second layer. The second layer is 6.93 in width and 7.74 in height. So how can we do that? Let's copy, and then after we select copy, we can now paste, and there you have the perfect similar size petal. So let's make this one like an inch or an inch more smaller than the previous petal. And the way how I make it, I found that the second petal should be 6.93 in width, and if you can see, I unlock this one again so it can give us, you know, the customized size that we want. 6.93 in width and 7.74 in height. Enter. So now here's our second petal. So we have 2 petals now with 2 different sizes. So now we have the first layer and then the second layer. Now let's make the third layer. So how can we do that? Again, let's select the second layer, copy it, and then paste. We'll have exact the same size petal of the second layer. So let's resize this one again. Let's not forget to unlock this. And the third layer is 5.78 in width and 6.45 in height. Enter. So there's our third layer. And if you notice, I always arrange it this way, like really making it sure that its base is touching in the same line, so I can really eye if they have the same like proportion of sizes. If you can see, this is like an inch or an inch more, which is the same size from the third layer to the second layer and the second layer to the first layer. So again, let's make the fourth layer. Let's copy the third layer and then paste it, and then again you have the same exact size as your third layer. So the fourth layer, it's gonna be 4.58 for the width, and let's not forget to unlock this one. 4.58, and the height is 5.11. There is our fourth layer. And for our final layer, let's copy and paste the fourth layer for us to create the fifth. And it's already unlocked. No, not really. Let's unlock this one. And then it's 3.66 by 4.09. So that's our fifth and final layer. So as you can see, you have already a perfect 5-layer Petal 137 template. So before we do any cutting, let's try to save this one. Actually, I already saved it here. It's Petal 137, but what you can do, you can resave it again, and you can, just enter the file name, Petal 137, and then click save here. But because I already have saved it there, I will just cancel this one. So now, ladies, we have our 5-layer petal of Petal 137. Now, how can we print it? Or how can we cut it? What we can do, when we were in edit earlier, let's go back to layers. So for us to be able to start cutting, what I do is I turn off this one, this little eyes at the very right part of your panel, which is the smallest. I turn this off, and this one, and this one, and this one. Now I only have like 1 layer petal in here, which means that this is the only visible of the mat to cut. So let's try. So we can now cut this one. All you need to do is load the paper and then click go, and then go. And the second petal, what we can do is that we can make it visible again, and we can make the very first one invisible. So this is one of the this is the second layer that we have, and this is the only visible petal and layer that our mat will cut. And if we will make this one visible again, what we can do after we make it invisible is that, oh, by the way, this largest petal, I cut it in a vertical position of paper. So it's gonna be, I always use A4, so it's gonna be 8 by 11, 8.5 by 11. So that's the largest. And every layer for the particular rows that I made, I cut 6 layers of petals in every layer. I cut 6 petals in every layer. So I made 6 of this large one, and I also make 6 of the second layer, but with the 5th layer I cut 12. So for me to be able to utilize the paper, how I do that is I position this one here, and I also position my paper in the mat horizontally. So instead of 8 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 11. I made it 11 by 8.5. So this is gonna be my baseline for my bottom part of my what is this, paper. So I'm sure all of us is very eager to, you know, save as much paper as we want. So I'm making this tutorial to teach you how to do that with your Cricut machine. So the fifth petal, which the same petal I made for the very center, I make 12 of those. So what we can do, we can copy and paste the second, the fifth layer, and I just rotate it just for me to position it well enough that, you know, it really gets into my mat. So now if you can see, it's, you know, even before 11 and even, you know, less than 8.5. So that should be fine because I position my paper horizontally, so it's gonna be 11 by 8.5. But the tricky part is that the calibration of our mat is sometimes, you know, tripping. So let's set this one as an example. If you click go, this is now your final mat. I mean the cutting mat. So it only has the second layer and one of the fifth layer. The other one is positioned into our next mat, which is not what we want. So how can we make it all in one place? So let's go back to our mat, and if you can see, this layers that has eyes wide open, or the visible ones, let's click it. So we have the one, and hold control for the second visible petal, and still hold control for the other visible petal. So it's now all selected together as one smart object. So how can we really make it unite, even going to our mat? So if you can see, there's wheeled here in your right part of your panel. So let's click that, and it, you know, combines everything together. If you can see, you can drag it all around your mat and it becomes now one object, not three. So that's what we want. So when we click go, if you can see, there's already our object. The third, we can print 6 of the second layer, and then even though we have we will still use 6 papers into this, but because we have 2 of the fifth layers, we'll be able to achieve 12 of this particular template, and now we can easily cut it into our machine without restriction. So okay, I already show you how to cut this thing together. So I once again, I put the second layer and the fifth layer all together if you are cutting the 11 by 8.5 paper. So you can, you know, we can all save paper. That's our mission. So let me undo the welding and bring it into original size. So That's how the petal, the layer 2 and the layer 5 will be placed in your mat, so you can, cut it in an economical way. So now, let's, assuming that you already cut 6 of the layer 2 and 12 of the layer 12, let's make these petals invisible again, and let's find petal layer number 3 and number 4. So this one is pretty easy. You will still need to position your paper horizontally, which is 11 by 8, and I think you don't have to do any welding here. Let's see. Yeah, you don't have to do any welding here. It fits in 11 width and then 8.5 height. So 6 sheets for these 2 layers. You're gonna have 6 layer 3 and 6 layer 4. See? But because I did not have anything in it, let's go back to our mat. I want to cancel the cut, but that's the idea. That's how I size, how I arrange my petals in the mat, so I can totally, I have totally all the freedom to make and save papers while cutting it. Because the tricky part is that, sometimes when you do it by iPad, you cannot weld it all together. And the design space is very meticulous, and it wouldn't allow you to, space it in the way how you want it, because it might affect the quality of cutting. But I found it out that as long as you have, you will put a little gap on your objects, it cut just fine. After all, it's called the smart cutter. So there it is, ladies. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you all find this video very informative. And if you guys have any question, don't hesitate to message me, particularly in Instagram. I'm more active in Instagram and or in Etsy if you purchase from there. So wait for my next tutorial on how I assemble this petals together to make a really nice rose using all the same petals together.